How you doing there, folks? Baiters here with another video for you all. Today we're going to look at the top 10 best and worst gameplay features of Fallout 76. We'll look at 10 things that'll make you want to cry like a man baby from emotional pain, like the emotional pain you get when you play catch with your father for the first time and realize he throws like a pussy. And 10 things that'll bring you unexplainable joy, like the kind of joy you get from sticking your penis in a warm block of cheese when nobody's looking. Now go ahead and throw your Averagebaters Anonymous chip right out the window, because you're about to be off the wagon. And let's get to average baiting, baby! Now, Fallout 76 has gotten a lot of bad press lately. It seems like everyone just wants to beat it like an unwanted pubic hair. Because a hair growing out of the middle of your penis just isn't natural, is it? No, it is not. Fallout 76 at times definitely feels like the loose pube of the Fallout series. It's just out there freeballing it like a psycho. And we're all sitting here thinking, what is that curly little hair up to? You know? However, guys and girls, it's not all bad. There are plenty of features about Fallout 76 that also make it an enjoyable experience. So we're going to look at the 10 best and 10 worst things about Fallout 76, so all you guys can be a better judge of whether or not your ball beard should take up more real estate on your situation, or whether you need to whip out the weed whacker and make an example out of that little guy. You know what I mean? However, in order to keep this balanced and fair to Bethesda, I'm going to do one good and then one bad and so forth and so on. That way, one section isn't just riddled with negativity. With that said, the first good thing about Fallout 76 definitely has to be the map. The maps in the Fallout series have always typically been cosmetically fugly. The Pip-Boy map looked like Nintendo hate-fucked binary code after having too much to drink. However, Fallout 76 ameliorates that with a practically and cosmetically improved world map. Now we get colors and little drawings of landmarks and shit, each of which do a great job of hinting at an area before you explore it. Fast travel is also more efficient in Fallout 76. Now you can actually fast travel from inside a dungeon or a building, which is a real convenience if you're balls deep in a mission and you don't want to strut your ass all the way back to the front door. The map in Fallout 76 is fantastic, and it makes traversing this giant world easier and more enjoyable. Now, one of the biggest jokes in Fallout 76 is the ballistic damage at high levels. Now, once you surpass level 30 or so, you may start to realize ballistic weapons are not very practical against high-level enemies, because they take an excessive amount of ammunition, they're more time-consuming, and they create more wear and tear on that weapon to just obliterate one foe. While melee weapons cost no ammunition, are more efficient time-wise, and cause less wear and tear on the weapon itself. Meaning at high levels, it's more effective to beat a monster to death with a lead pipe than it is to use a 50 cal light machine gun, which is absolutely absurd. When I shoot something in a video game, I expect it to die, not brush itself off and be like, "It's cool, guys. I'm fine. I'm fine. You know, it actually didn't even hurt. It didn't even hurt. I'm good. I'm good. I'm just gonna go about living my life, being a super mutant or whatever." The worst part is that perk cards don't counterbalance this at all, and they just further the ineffective gap of anything non-melee. To top off this ass cherry of bad choices, ammo and resources are rare, meaning playing as anything other than a melee build at high levels is all but impossible, unless you get your mittens on a super rare 3-star legendary that shits on everything. Fallout games are supposed to be role-playing games, yet this is the first Fallout game where I'm forced to wear power armor to stay alive, and I have to run around with a sword like I'm the fucking Dragonborn. Bethesda needs to increase the strength of ballistic weapons so that they are at least on par with melee weapons at high levels. Better yet, they should actually make them better than melee weapons, you know, like how things actually work on planet Earth. Using a ballistic weapon at high levels in Fallout 76 feels like you're intentionally putting yourself at a disadvantage, which is crazy. Another good thing is the armor under outfits. Power armor isn't my favorite thing, especially when I have a really sexy outfit just screaming my name from my inventory, saying, "Baiters, put me on your body, oh, fucking put me on your body." However, in previous Fallout games, if you wanted to wear a cool outfit that didn't have a lot of damage resistance, then there was a good chance you might wake up somewhere strange with a ball gag in your mouth getting spanked by a big guy named Trevor. Needless to say, no damage resistance means Trevor and other weirdos in the post-apocalypse could manhandle your giblets with relative ease. Well, Bethesda yet again made a positive change to the series by adding a third layer of clothing. Now outfits will actually go over armor pieces, so you can prance around in your favorite garments and still feel protected. However, if you do enjoy the look of armors in the game, you still have the option to show them off over your clothing by just wearing one of the multiple Under Armors in the game. Now, Under Armor goes over your naked nipples, while Armor goes over Under Armor, and Outfits, the third layer, goes over everything else, but it still keeps the armor equipped underneath for protection. So you can choose to see your armor or not, and still be protected in Appalachia, which is an excellent improvement to the game. Another awful feature of Fallout 76 is finding plans at the vendors. Now, do you want to build a sweet base or some cool custom weapons and armor in Fallout 76? Well, all you need is the plans. Where are the plans, you might be wondering? Who the fuck knows? Certain plans will show up at different times on different vendors, some of which only show up on specific vendors and will spawn on those vendors randomly, making it almost impossible to go out and find the plan you're looking for. You'll have to check all the vendors all the time on the off chance that they'll show you something rare. Best of all, one of the vendors, Graham, bounces around the entire map like a fucking antisocial ninja, and guess what? He carries a lot of rare items you can't get anywhere else. Just getting one plan can take 10 to hundreds of hours, depending on how lucky you are. This can be a little fucked up when the plan you're looking for is a chair or a table. Best of all, there's no name for the plans you're missing in the workshop menu, or an indication at any of the vendors that you own a specific plan already. So if you're not Rain Man counting toothpicks mid-air, you're gonna purchase some shit you already own. And there's nothing worse than paying 1,000 caps for something you already own. The vendor system promotes bullshit player strategies like server hopping and exploits because Bethesda thought it would be a good idea to make a sofa harder to find than fucking Narnia. Well played, Bethesda. Well played. Another good improvement to the game are the new weapons. One thing that Fallout games do well is create incredible looking weapons for us to find and use in the world space. Fallout 76 is no different, with the addition of some incredible ballistic, melee, and energy weapons that make combat feel new and exciting. Some of my favorite weapons in the game include the Black Powder Rifle, the Single Action Revolver, and the Tesla Rifle, all beautifully designed and a ton of fun to use in the game. It's actually kind of hard to contain my excitement when I find a new weapon in Fallout 76, as I've been known to overreact. Is that a new weapon over there? Oh my god, it is! I'm gonna shoot! I'm gonna shoot! Ah! I'm gonna shoot! Another annoying factor of Fallout 76 are obviously the exploits and glitches. In any Fallout game, there's gonna be a fair share of glitches, which is to be expected when you play a Bethesda title, and honestly, not something I typically minded in the past. However, the glitches in Fallout 76 have a remarkable talent of being game-breakingly bad. For instance, there was a glitch that makes the weapon you're using not do damage to specific enemies. I noticed this mostly with melee weapons against turrets. Now, when you're trying to progress through the game and you're hitting an enemy that's seemingly invincible, that's enough to make you want to Snapchat Todd Howard pictures of you choking a pillow with Fallout 76 written on it. Just choking the shit out of it. Most of the glitches don't hurt gameplay, but the ones that do are impossible to ignore. Obviously, the biggest selling point of Fallout 76 was that you could do it online with your friends. Now, just adding more people to an activity doesn't necessarily make it fun, though. Porn, for instance, is one of those things that's better done on the internet alone, covered in shame and boner juice. But Fallout 76 did a great job of taking something designed for a solo audience and making it enjoyable with more people. At times, Fallout 76 feels even more enjoyable the more people you play with. An aspect that surprised and puzzled me at first, but one that I readily embrace in this new Fallout adventure. Exploring Appalachia and doing quests is so much more fun when you do it with other people, and Bethesda did a wonderful job integrating an online component into what was once strictly a single-player experience. Maybe the most ridiculous issue I've ever seen in all my years of playing Fallout was the pathetically tiny stash they give you in Fallout 76. When Fallout 76, unlike other Fallout titles, requires you to store and carry more just to progress through the game. Someone honestly shit the bed on this one. Whoever thought that people playing a Fallout game could store all their shit in a toddler's lunchbox should be taken outside and beaten with a stick. Like, honestly, I don't even know what to say about this one, Bethesda. How did none of the gameplay testers not go, hold on, guys. Wait a second here. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but, I've got nowhere to store all my shit. Has anyone else got this problem? Anyone? Tony? Tony, you got this problem? No? It's because you don't got any shit, Tony. You don't count. Anyone else who actually has shit? Honestly, putting this game out with a stash size this small is insulting to the overall structure and design of the game itself. It literally contradicts people's ability to play the game the way Bethesda designed it to be played. Arguably one of the most enjoyable features of Fallout 76 is being able to contribute to the nuclear apocalypse by launching your very own do-it-yourself nuclear armament. And nothing gets me wetter in the panties than a giant A-bomb obliterating shit in a video game. It just feels and looks satisfying when a tactical nuke drops down and changes the environment with it. For the first time in any Fallout game, not only do you have access to nuclear weapons that brought about Fallout's dystopian future, but you can actually launch them at the world space, changing the surrounding area, creating high-level loots, and a hell of a fun experience. Another aggravating component of Fallout 76 is the constant looting. Sometimes part of me when I'm playing Fallout 76 thinks Bethesda wasn't even designing a Fallout game with this iteration. Rather, what they really wanted to make was a loot simulator, because at times that's all Fallout 76 feels like. Here's the conversation Bethesda thinks we have when we're talking about what we find fun in Fallout games. Guys, the best part of any Fallout game is fighting new enemies. No. Best part of a Fallout game is learning about all the new factions. No, guys. No. Honestly, best part of a Fallout game is collecting paintbrushes like my life depends on it, okay? Gameplay mechanics like that are like a precious gift, okay? Kiss me right on the nose when they added that. They kissed me right on the nose. Basically, everything breaks down in Fallout 76, from your weapons to your base to even your body. So 80% of your gameplay is spent looking for materials to fix your shit, cure your hunger, or prepare for future use. Fallout 76 has managed to make a game where going around collecting clipboards is actually an important aspect of progression. Not only is this shit boring, tedious, and repetitive, it actually takes away from your ability to focus on missions or quests because all you ever do is repair shit. Nobody picks up a Fallout game looking to go gallivanting around the wasteland looking for toothbrushes, okay? So why is there such a large focus on this overly grindy bullshit loot system? I'll never know. But apparently the creators at Bethesda thought looking for junk in Fallout 4 was what got everyone's dick hard. Well, guess what? It wasn't, okay? It was the gulpers and their big dick-sucking lips. Another great aspect of Fallout 76 is the settlement building. Now, settlement was somewhat introduced in Skyrim, and it was improved a fair amount for Fallout 4. But it's safe to say settlement building is even better in Fallout 76. You can basically build a settlement anywhere you would like in the world space with plenty of new items that really make your base feel like an addition to the world. The building is smoother, as it makes building a decent looking settlement pretty simple in the game. Now, once you're done building a really sweet base, you can also choose to lock your doors, so that only you and your team will be able to access it without getting a bounty. Now, I really enjoyed the settlement building in Fallout 4, but 76's building definitely steps it up a notch from 4 and creates hours and hours of enjoyment in the game. Another annoying aspect of Fallout 76 is weapon degradation. Weapon degradation, like looting, has become sort of this really annoying mechanic in Fallout 76. In other Fallout games, you could use other weapons or armor of the same caliber to repair your current weapons and armor, but no, not in Fallout 76. In Fallout 76, you'll break down a gun and get 2 steel, but it will cost you 8 steel, 6 adhesive, 5 springs, 13 copper, a glow stick, and your firstborn child to fix the fucking thing, which makes a lot of sense. This again takes away from combat, because you'll have to leave what you're doing, find a workbench, and repair your weapon or armor, which, mind you, gets even more aggravating when you're short on supplies, but you got 2 other lower levels of the same gun or armor on your person. Then to top this beauty off with a giant turd on your crafting cake, is that the items you don't get from breaking down your weapons and armor are the ones you need more of. So springs, screws, etc. are all rare. Yet you'll need to have all of these things to repair, rebuild, and create armor and weapons. But you can't get these things from breaking down armor and weapons. It's the perfect system, Bethesda. It's just perfect. Nothing needs to change there. What am I talking about? Another great new feature in Fallout 76 are all the new creatures. Now, one of the most compelling features of any Fallout game are all the interesting creatures that litter the world space. Now, Fallout 76 doesn't disappoint in this department either, and one could say it takes Fallout games to a whole new level with the introduction of cryptids like the Mothman, the Wendigo, the Grafton Monster, and more. The creatures are very well done in Fallout 76, with compelling backstories, excellent designs, and interesting fighting mechanics. Fallout 76 was the first Fallout game where I was legitimately excited to find a rare enemy in the world space. There's also a three-legged frog in the game, guys and girls. Yeah, I'm not making that up, and I'm not entirely sure what it does in the game either. I once followed it around for hours just to learn more about it. I was just like, what are you all about, you know? The only thing I learned with 100% certainty is that the way that frog moves gives me a boner. Yeah, I know that now for a fact. The weight of items is also a killer in this game. Being as how Bethesda thought the world's tiniest stash box was a good fucking idea, they also made everything way more than it should. In Fallout 76, you have to carry food, weapons, heals, armor, ammo, junk, and more that all weigh shit. Even bobby pins have weight. A ridiculous weight, mind you, as one bobby pin weighs as much as a fucking article of clothing. 90% of your perk choice late game is trying to counterbalance weight, not out of preference, but necessity, with everything weighing you down all the time. It's safe to say I've spent more time over encumbered in Fallout 76 than all the other Fallout games combined, and I have 20 times more gameplay on each of the other Fallout games. Once again, it feels like Bethesda is punching us in the ball bag with all the item weights, saying you need to collect a ridiculous amount of items to repair your stuff and play the game, but you won't be able to collect all that shit without getting over encumbered. This is literally the definition of a catch-22, and it's the main core structure of the game. How in the squishy water balloons did this become a thing? Another great aspect of Fallout 76 is the detailed lore. Now, a great part of the Fallout series isn't just the gameplay, but the captivating and interesting story of the characters, factions, and monsters that brought that dystopian future to fruition, and what keeps that future in a depreciating stalemate of human depravity. Learning about the factions, creatures, and locations in Fallout 76 adds to the overall experience and creates a living, breathing world space that we can explore. The lore of Fallout is inherently interesting, and the creators of Fallout 76 know this because they managed to fit tons of new lore in Appalachia that we would have otherwise not known about. The detailed accounts of the creatures, the factions, and even certain locations make Fallout 76 a place riddled with fascinating new things to learn about. Does it make me want to put peanut butter on my nipples and rub my genitals? Perhaps. Perhaps it does. Another not so great feature of Fallout 76 is level locked items. I honestly can't remember this feature in any other Fallout or Elder Scrolls game, probably because it's such a bad idea. Having a leveling system for weapons means you can find a weapon you want, but not be able to use it because it's too low level or too high level. And that very leveling system actually stops at level 50, meaning that's the strongest those weapons will ever get, which is horrible, especially for certain variants. This system is pointless and serves to do nothing but irritate people who have weapons that can't do enough damage at high levels and are locked at low levels. So you rush to level up only to find out your weapons still don't do shit for damage. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. I've actually taken shits that make more sense than level locking items in a Fallout game. Mind you, they were really nice shits. They were really good. They were really, really nice shits. Another awesome new feature added by 76 is the perk card system. Before, when you'd play an Elder Scrolls or Fallout game, you'd have to plan out a specific build for your character to maximize efficiency, oftentimes having to create multiple characters from multiple styles of play. Well, not anymore. Now you can capitalize on multiple builds in one as long as you have the necessary perk cards to do so. Your character build will only be limited by the amount of attributes you have in each special ability, meaning that you'll be able to switch through a plethora of different builds if you balance your character's special abilities wisely. You can go from being a ninja, sneaking up on people, or you can be a more aggressive character and bombard people with a baseball bat to the nuts. You do you. That's what I always say. You do you. Now, the absolute dumbest feature in Fallout 76 is the player versus player. They wanted to design a survival MMORPG that turns out to be none of those things in any way that makes those games great. The player versus player seems to be a byproduct of that mentality. They added player versus player because in survival games, people fight against one another for supplies as position, and they thought obviously this was a fun concept, which it is. However, they didn't want to discourage new players with griefers, so they wanted a way to prevent griefing, and what they created in the process was a player versus player that exists solely to grief people with zero consequence. Without going into too much detail about this, because I could honestly rant about the player versus player in Fallout 76 all day, I'll just say this. It in no way discourages trolling behavior, and in a lot of ways, it encourages it. For instance, take a person who doesn't want to engage in player versus player. Now take a couple other people who want to troll that person because they're lower levels and they know they can get more caps from them. Because if you're lower level than a passive person, for instance, and you kill that passive person in a player versus player altercation, then you'll be rewarded a lot of that person's caps. As opposed to killing someone who's a lower level, you'll get less caps for that. However, being a higher level doesn't actually make you stronger in a player versus player altercation, which again, makes no sense. So the trolls would proceed by blowing up the person's base, which in turn will cost that person resources if they don't stop them. And if they do stop them, then they've now engaged in player versus player, and those trolls can now team and kill that passive player for caps. So either the player loses caps or they lose resources, which can be very valuable in the game. This again, done to a player who is in passive mode, doesn't want to fight other people. What are you doing, Bethesda? What are you doing? Either have player versus player on all the time and have serious consequences for fighting other people. If I kill someone, let me take their armor. Let me take all their shit. You know what I mean? Or get the fuck rid of it, all right? And make it a problem for somebody who's a lower level to take on somebody who's a higher level, okay? Don't even it out. If the lower level has an explosive weapon, he can still one-shot a higher level. That doesn't make any sense, all right? If you're gonna give them more caps for killing somebody who's a higher level, then make sure that it's actually hard to do, all right? Your system is flawed, it's broken. This half-assed player versus player is such a griefing joke, it's stupid right down to its very core. Another great aspect of Fallout 76 is there are a ton of missions. In Fallout 76, there is always something to do, whether it's looking for supplies, farming enemies for legendary items, or questing. Questing in Fallout 76 might not have the quality story of its predecessors, but it makes up for the lack of quality with an abundance of quantity. I'm not sure it's possible to run out of quests to do in 76, from events to side missions, from factions to the main quest. There is just plenty to keep you busy in Fallout 76 for basically forever, which can be a lot of fun. Guys. Lastly, something that drives me insane in Fallout 76 is eating and drinking all the time. This again is a survival element that has no place in Fallout 76 and is done in such a way that makes it a constant nuisance rather than an actual gameplay characteristic that adds depth and immersion. Hunger and thirst happen too fast too often. They only slow you down and they irritate the ever-loving fuck out of you until you drink a puddle or some shit. I feel like if I ate as much in real life as I'm required to in Fallout 76, then I would be on the Discovery Channel with a bunch of scientists around me going, how the fuck isn't he dead yet? Of all the new mechanics they added with this game besides the horrendous player versus player, this is by far my least favorite. A gameplay mechanic that only causes annoyance is not a good gameplay mechanic. How the fuck do you not know this already, Bethesda? Come on. Shit. I feel like that's a no-brainer, guys. Now, with all that said, guys, I absolutely love Fallout games, and I believe in Bethesda as a company. I know that we went over some bad things in regards to Fallout 76. However, the positive things about this game definitely outweigh the negative for me, and most of the biggest issues with this game could easily be fixed with just an update. So not only am I going to keep playing Fallout 76, but I'm hopeful that Bethesda listens to the community and capitalizes on what could make this good game a fantastic game in the future. Thanks again for watching, folks. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, be sure to bitch slap that subscribe button like it's 3 weeks behind on your rent. Bitch! Where's the money, bitch? Where's the money? Where is it? Also, go ahead and hit that bell icon too, because apparently YouTube thought there should be extra steps. Why not, right?
I'd like to subscribe, but first I have to click this and do this. Oh, it needs an email. All right, and this. Okay, fuck. Just tell me when he's uploading. Fuck!
Once you do all that, if you're lucky, at the stroke of midnight, a tiny little Averagebaters fairy might come and tickle your butthole. Now, I hope to see you all again next time, and remember to keep on average baiting, baby.